Hello and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to show you how to turn any white object in Photoshop into any color that you like, even black or darker colors. So let me show you what I'm talking about first. If we for example select this blue controller and we went to the hue saturation and clipped it to the controller, if we for example press on this small hand icon and selected this color, which is the blues, or we did it manually and selected blues from here, you could simply change the hue just like this, you could make it green for example, or you could press colorize and maybe select the green that you like and just like this change the hue. This is really simple, but if we try to do it on the uh, white controller, it's going to be impossible. As you can see, you can change the hue as much as you want, but it's not going to change the white color, which is the one that we wanted to change in the first place. Even if we press colorize, you can see that it's going to be impossible. You would have to increase the saturation and decrease lightness, and even in this case you can see that it's still not the color that we wanted. Look at the green for example. So today I'm gonna show you a quick fix to this, and it's really simple. All you have to do is to start off by making a selection of the object you wanna change the color of. For example, the controller in our case. As you can see, I made a selection of the white areas in the controller, and I created a layer mask to remove the buttons or the black plastic bits. And first of all, let's actually add a little bit of contrast to the controller. As you can see, it's looking a little bit flat, so let's add a curves adjustment layer. Let's maybe add an S curve in here, a little bit of shadows like this, a little bit, not too much. We don't want to make the whole controller flat like this, so you gotta be careful with white objects. A little bit more like this. Okay, so let's look at the before and after. It's already looking really beautiful. Okay, so let's group this, and what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna add a solid color, and let's start off with a lighter colors, for example this light blue. Let's press OK and let's clip it, and as you can see it's not doing much, but we could go to the blending modes and choose multiply. This way we're darkening the white color with the color that we chose from the solid color, which is this light blue. And as you can see, it's still looking a little bit flat. Compare the dark areas to the dark buttons in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a curves adjustment layer once again, and you could create the shadows manually and a little bit of highlights, or let's press Ctrl Z. You could simply select this hand icon and choose where you think it's gonna be darker. Simply click and drag down if you want to make it darker. Simply do the opposite and click and drag up if you want to make that area brighter. As you can see, we made some changes to the curve adjustment layer. Let's actually just do it manually, just a little bit like this, by adding a little bit of shadows. Okay, and of course you could always go back and adjust your color if you think it's too saturated. As you can see, now it's looking really beautiful, like the color we chose at the beginning. So this is how you change a white color to a color that is bright or less saturated. If you want to make the color darker, for example, let's go with a darker purple, something like this. Let's press OK. As you can see, it's not really realistic. Let's even make it black. Now, as you can see, if we choose a black color, you can see that it's not realistic. And in real life, if you look at these objects right here, nothing is actually black. It's either gray, a dark gray, or maybe it could contain some little bit of color like green or yellow depending on the lighting. Let's pick this color for example. As you can see, this is just a dark gray and not a complete black. You could have some black maybe, or some even darker grays in the shadows, but in the case of the controller itself, it should be just a darker gray, like this for example. Let's press OK. Now let's turn this one off. And instead we're gonna add another curves adjustment layer. Now this time we're gonna select our hand icon like always, and we're gonna click and drag down a little bit. This time we're gonna be a little bit more careful, just a little bit like this. And instead of making the whole thing darker, we're gonna add a point somewhere right here, something to keep the bright areas where they were. And now we could simply drag it down a little bit. And as you can see, let's look at the before and after. Let's zoom back and let's turn everything off. You can see it was a white controller and we turn it into a black controller. You could of course change the color, maybe some brown, something like this. And you could always go back and adjust it, add different highlights and different shadows, and you could do this separately on another adjustment layer. For example, another curves, add a little bit of highlights like this. Maybe you could double click it and use the blend if. You could, for example, remove this brightness effect that we created, remove it from the darker areas, simply like this. Let's smooth it out. Let's press OK, and let's look at the before and after. Okay, you can see the difference already. And basically this was how to change white color in Photoshop into any color that you like, whether it's a dark color, a bright color, or even black itself. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to press like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon to receive notifications about upcoming videos.